Katie Porter, she is running for governor of California, yet apparently cannot handle questions. This clip has been all over the place, so you've probably seen it. Roll it, boys.
We've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it.
The silent mayor. From one meltdown to one mute button, let's talk about Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. You'd think when your city's literally on fire, the least you could do is say something.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Abigail Spanberger. Oh, well, let me tell you, she's Virginia's Democratic darling, about to offer up a masterclass in smug silence. We're talking about a governor's debate here. We'll take a look.
Take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your three children?
The problem isn't one bad politician or one unhinged TV host. It's a system built on noise. It's a culture that rewards outrage over honesty, emotion over evidence, and loyalty over logic. Welcome to Stay in the Fray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. This is where headlines get hit hard, hypocrisy gets shredded, and the absurd are laughed at. If you want comfort, this isn't your place. If you want blunt and unfiltered, I'm your guy. Join me in the fray.
All you gotta do is just listen up.
Everyone, let's have some more fun with, they really said that. It never gets old. I was just noticing a lot of the, liberal, not only the liberal people, but the liberal leaders, they have a really hard time when they're asked a real question. It's like watching a toddler short circuit mid tantrum. They blink and they freeze, or they just walk off. These are the same people preaching about democracy and transparency, yet the second you ask, hey, what about accountability? Poof. Gone faster than their approval ratings. And it's not just the politicians, it's the followers too. Every time some random protester gets a mic shoved in their face, it's the same scene. No facts, no logic, just recycled buzzwords directed at whoever they're talking to. Blank stares. You ask, so why are you here at this protest? And they answer with something they half heard on TikTok. Equality, oppression, fascism. Okay, define one of those words and then go look in the mirror. We've reached a point where silence isn't awkward anymore. It's just policy. Being offended is now an argument for their cause. And apparently, crying or tweeting counts as leadership. So today, I've lined up a few shining examples of how the self-proclaimed adults in charge react when they're cornered by reality. I have tantrums, smirks, pure avoidance, and the unholy trinity of liberal leadership. From candidates who storm out of interviews to mayors who ghost their own city mid-crisis, to talk show clowns who think that every disagreement is Nazi Germany 2.0. I've got it all here. Let's watch the leaders who cannot lead, the thinkers who cannot think, and the journalists who cannot journal. Welcome to Stay in the Fray podcast, and welcome to another round of They Really Said That. It is October the 20th, 2025. Let's roll. I'm going to start with this one. I think you've seen it. It's California's, I call her, it's our favorite walking contradiction. Katie Porter. I've just recently come across this woman, and I already have enough. She is running for governor of California, yet apparently cannot handle questions. The thing that voters tend to have before they put you in charge of 40 million people. This clip has been all over the place, so you've probably seen it, but it's so entertaining and it's so sad. for her that I want to show it to you again. And then I'll give you some thoughts, if you will. Roll it, boys.
We've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader.
Wow, that's impressive, Katie. The moment the questions drift outside of the comfort zone, boom, meltdown. Julie dared to ask how she plans to appeal to the 40% of Californians who voted for Trump. I think that's a fair question for someone who wants to lead all Californians. But no, Katie doesn't want to do this anymore. Her words, you heard it, not mine. I'm going to call it, she says, like she's ending a bad Zoom meeting, not an interview for the highest office in the state. Julie even tried to remind Julie. Julie tried to remind Katie, I apologize. Every other candidate's answering the questions. And Porter fires back, well, I don't care. I'm me. And she said, I'm a leader. Nothing screams leadership like storming off mid-sentence because the conversation got uncomfortable. I don't even know what it got uncomfortable with. It seemed like a pretty easy question, but can you imagine this woman negotiating with another governor? Sorry. I don't like your follow-up question. I'm calling it. And if it wasn't enough, there's another clip that's been circulating, and let's have fun with that too. So here we go. Let's see. She's filming something, and she gets politely corrected by her own producer. Keep her from saying something stupid or wrong. And what happens? Roll this one, guys.
And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money.
Perfect.
Okay.
Isn't that great? It's so funny. What an unhinged loose cannon this woman is. She was being correct. She did not want to be corrected. God. California, this is your front runner. A governor hopeful who folds under the weight of mild curiosity and can't handle being fact-checked on her own video. If this is the new definition of leadership in California, then the bar isn't just low, it's underground. I thought Newsom was bad. Here we go. The silent mayor. From one meltdown to one mute button, let's talk about Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. You'd think when your city's literally on fire, the least you could do is say something. Anything. A word. A syllable. Cough. So a reporter asks Bass perfectly fair questions. Where she was during the LA wildfires, why the fire department budget was slashed, and if she has anything to say to the citizens who lost their homes. Instead, well, here you go, boys.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
You get the point. It goes on for a little bit longer, believe it or not. Literal silence. That's impressive, right? It's the kind of leadership you get when someone confuses public service with performance art. He even throws in a parting shot. Loved it. Elon Musk says, "You're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?" And what does she do? Nothing. She just stands there. And then eventually she walks away. Not even a fake, we're working on it, or, that's Elon has his own opinion. She's just gone. Imagine being so disconnected from your own city that you cannot find the words to comfort people who've lost everything. No sympathy, no accountability here, just a blank stare and a brisk exit. Los Angeles deserves better than a mayor who treats tragedy like background noise. Her silence might have been her trying to come up with a new spin. Maybe she was about to claim there weren't actually fires, the same way that she once said there weren't actually riots going on right behind her in her city. She's had a rough year. LA needs better. So has anyone heard outside of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger? No? Well, let me tell you, she's Virginia's Democratic darling, about to offer up a masterclass in smug silence. We're talking about a governor's debate here. I thought you had to open your mouth for debate, but it's a perfect opportunity to show everybody that you have a shred of integrity. In this clip, her opponent, Winsome Earl Sears, asks her to do something simple. She just says, condemn fellow Democrat Jay Jones for his vile text messages. By the way, messages wishing death on another candidate and his children. No, there's no lie there. Go look it up. That is not politics. This is just depravity. You'd think any decent human being, let alone a public official, would say, yeah, that's disgusting. That is not who we are. Instead, we'll take a look. Play it.
Take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your three children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right? Have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race.
100%. I don't think she's a favorite, but I hope that that candidate right there wins. She is governor material. But look at the face on Abigail. A little smirk says it all. No words, just this weird, smug satisfaction, as if being silent somehow makes her morally superior. It's disgusting. It's cowardice dressed up as composure. There's no outrage, no disgust, no distancing herself from a kind of filth. Just a politician calculating how to look unbothered while her side fantasizes about killing children. That was the face of someone who'd rather lose her soul than lose a vote. Leadership is not about grinning your way through evil. It's about calling it out when it's right in front of you. But that requires a spine, not a smirk. If silence was strength, Spanberger would be the Hulk. Unfortunately, this was weakness, broadcast live. And that is why everybody should take a look at these types of clips and rethink some things. These are the type of people you're putting in office. All right, everyone, that closes the book on our little trilogy of leaders who crumble under the pressure of questions. But if you think dodging accountability is bad, just wait until you meet the people rewriting history itself. Because when politicians stop talking, the talk shows take over. And Joy Behar, you've heard her before, she's turned overreaction into an art form. Let's check in on America's favorite daytime disaster, The View. You have Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, and of course, Joy Behar, the woman who somehow turned outrage into cardio. In this clip, Joy gives us her latest prophecy of doom. The country won't make it another 3.5 years under Trump. Oh, the drama. You think the man was personally dismantling oxygen. Let's roll this.
If you guys think that we can survive another 3.5 years of this, I think you're delusional. Every day there's some nihilistic thing.
Tuesday, Joy. Can we not start there?
I hate to be Debbie Downer, but every day this guy is undoing something in this country that we value. Every day, every day is a shock and awe here. And I, for one, am skeptical that we will survive this.
I am not. If you need that from me, I do believe
Joy,
believe in our system.
You've seen worse.
No,
right?
no, I have not.
Worse.
No, I grew up during World War II.
It's classic. There it is, theatrical panic at its finest. Every day, she says, he's undoing something that we value. Really, because last time I checked, what most Americans value, lower inflation, safer streets, jobs, are the exact things that are improving. The only people losing their minds are the ones who built their careers on pretending the world ends every time Donald Trump opens his mouth. Then at the end there, Sunny Hostin jumps in with her standard filler line, "We've seen worse in our history." Joy, without missing a beat, says, "I grew up during World War II. Born in 1942. Joy, you were in diapers when the war ended. I would hardly say that you were growing up during World War II. You grew up after it during peace and prosperity. And the fact that you keep dragging Nazi Germany into modern political debates, is beyond delusional. It's dangerous, and I'm getting tired of it. I cannot believe I have to clarify this for the dumbasses in the back. Trump didn't conquer and occupy countries. He didn't exterminate millions. He didn't outlaw religions or imprison citizens for dissent. Comparing policy disagreements and mean tweets to one of history's darkest regimes isn't just dishonest. It's an insult to every victim of it. You try and twist everything that he does into one of those things, and it's just not true. And weak-minded people listen to this garbage. They believe it. They start equating half the country to literal fascists because the TV host wants ratings. You cheapen the actual suffering of millions when you toss out comparisons like that. You didn't fight a war, Joy. You just been fighting reality with your pea-sized brain. And it was funny for a while because it was so dumb. It's not funny anymore. And the more that people like this shout Hitler every time they lose an argument, the more they erase what real evil actually looks like. That's the part that infuriates me. So yeah, Joy, keep rewriting history if it makes you feel important. But just know, the rest of us aren't buying your dramatics. All right. This guy. For daytime hysteria to late night panic on his own clips. We land on Don Lemon. I saw this dude when he first came into the industry. Polite, well-spoken young man. He was presenting facts, giving excellent advice for his fellow black men who he cared about and wanted to help, and for unity. Man, the leftist media has indoctrinated him to something unrecognizable. Only the few choose not to see this. So watch. This right here is unreal. And it's exactly what I've been talking about when I pen hypocrisy and scare tactics on the modern left. Play it.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen. Isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for? Go back and read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying, well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border.
Oh, man. Did you hear all of that? Let me translate that for you. He's telling people to buy guns because he's afraid of government overreach. He's treating a complex legal issue like a soundbite. He's stoking fear and confusion instead of giving sober, responsible commentary. Listen up. Telling people to arm themselves in the face of federal agents crosses a bright moral and legal line. The Second Amendment does protect an individual's right to possess firearms for lawful self-defense. It does not mean you get to incite armed confrontation with government officers or turn the Constitution into an instruction manual for vigilante violence. Amendment protects lawful self-defense, not permissive calls to fire on agents. He then doubles down with the nonsense line at the end there. Nobody is illegal. It's a misdemeanor to cross the border. That is a soundbite, not a legal analysis. Under federal law, unlawful entry is criminalized. I'll give you all the USC 8, blah, 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 1325. Go look it up. As a misdemeanor, yes, in many cases. But re-entering the country after removal can be charged as a felony. Many of these people have entered and re-entered many times. Repeated illegal re-entry or returning after deportation carries far stiffer penalties, prison time, heavy fines, and a long criminal record. So it's only a misdemeanor line is dangerously incomplete and misleading. Being here unlawfully, misdemeanor or not, is ground for removal. That means deportation. That is under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Go look it up. Quit listening to people like Don Lemon. The government does not need to treat every unlawful presence as a felony in order to remove someone from the country. There's a difference between what's deportable and what's criminal. And Lemon's soundbites mash those categories into confusion. The hypocrisy is deliciously obvious. The same media crowd that spends years lecturing the country about gun safety suddenly sounds like a gun rights sermon. When it suits their panic, of course. If you're anti-gun, don't hand out gun advice during a national freakout. If you're pro-gun, don't pretend you weren't the same person telling people to tone it down 5 minutes earlier. Either choose a lane or stop pretending to be unbiased while stoking violence. Don Lemon isn't warning people, he's lighting the match. Telling frightened folks to arm up against federal agents isn't brave commentary. It's reckless incitement. If you got a microphone, use it to calm, explain, and point people towards lawyers and rights. Don't hand them a reason to die. Tell them that if you're here legally, keep your documentation handy, cooperate, and you have nothing to fear. The real legal risk applies to unlawful presence or repeated re-entry, not people who followed the rules. Don, this is not journalism. It's theater with violent consequences. And someone should tell him, Don, someone tell you that playing with matches in a crowded room is criminally stupid, not patriotic. Lastly, I tried to do one of these episodes without Jasmine Crockett. She just spews so much bullshit all the time. I can't leave her out. She may be the mascot for They Really Said That. Post this post of hers, by the way, boys. Of course, it was George Floyd's birthday the other day, and this is what we got from Jasmine. George Floyd should still be here to celebrate his 52nd birthday. His life sparked a movement, and our fight for justice, accountability, and humanity continues. We will never stop saying his name. I'm going to be blunt. George Floyd was a piece of shit. George Floyd was not a hero. He was a career criminal with a long record. Armed robbery, drug charges, violent assaults, one of them on a woman pregnant. You don't build statues for that. You don't start national movements around that. You can respect a life lost and how it happened, demanding accountability without turning that grief into political sainthood. Yet Jasmine, with her trademark moral confusion, glorifies Floyd while trashing people like Charlie Kirk, a man who's never broken the law, who's done nothing but start conversations. Kirk gets vilified. Floyd gets canonized. Glorify the criminal. Demean the innocent. That's Jasmine Crockett's brand. Seems like all the left's brand these days is that. And if you're defending that logic, you might want to sit with the fact that your movement honors chaos over character. Something is seriously wrong with Jasmine Crockett, and anyone who agrees with her on this is the same. The problem isn't one bad politician or one unhinged TV host. It's a system built on noise. It's a culture that rewards outrage over honesty, emotion over evidence, and loyalty over logic. Every little nothing, true or false, sends these people into a frenzy of lies, misinformation, and buzzwords, all because they're terrified of losing again. They can't win on results, so they cling to chaos. We don't need more ridiculous protests about things that don't even exist, especially when the people holding the signs can't even explain what they're angry about. I'll be touching on that soon. The absurd no kings nonsense and the endless outrage machine that fuels it. You'll want to tune in for that, because truth doesn't need safe spaces. It just needs a voice that won't shut up when the mob shows up. So stay asking the hard questions. Stay demanding real answers from these people. And when the noise gets too loud, take a breath. Stay in the fray. We're a team. I need you guys. I love you guys.
All you gotta do is just listen up.